we go. Stock dividend, probably the most confusing, I'm going to say, right off the top of my head. Let's look at this. Okay, stock dividends means where we're going to take a percentage of the stock we already have issued and give a certain percent more of that issued stock. I think that made sense. So, if we have a 5% stock dividend at a market price of $40, there's a couple of things we have to do here first. First, we have to figure out how many shares we're talking. Well, we have 300,000 issued, so that's going to be 300,000 times 5%. That's 15,000 share. And those 15,000 share we're going to distribute to stockholders who already have the stock. So, and the price of the share on the market that we're going to use is $40. So that means we're going to so I take $40 times 15,000. Means I'm going to distribute $600,000 in stock as a dividend in the future. So as I look at all of this, let's see, we've got this number, and this number. That means I'm going to debit stock dividends $600,000. We have that one set. Now we've got a couple of others to worry about here. And this right here is how much the stock is at par that we're going to be distributing. And we have 15,000 share we're going to distribute. The par is 18. So it's 15,000 times 18. So that would make that 270,000. Now, obviously, these two are not coinciding or they're not balanced. So that means I have additional paid-in capital. So if I take the difference between those two, that will balance my first entry. So I have stock dividends of 600,000. The common stock that's going to be distributed is worth 270,000. And that gives us additional paid-in capital, so that people, or that above and beyond the par is also being calculated. So when I get ready to distribute this, I'm going to distribute just that 270,000 worth of stock, because the other, this right here, has already been entered into the account. And that's a stock dividend. It has a couple of more steps. First of all, you have to figure out how many have been issued, what percent I'm going to multiply by, and then how many shares I'm going to distribute. From there, you have to figure out the market to get the dividend, and then you figure out the par to get what is the distributable. The difference is the paid-in capital. Let's move on to a fun one. This one looks at preferred stock, and preferred stock always gets its dividends first. And they get all the dividends, and if there's any that haven't been paid from the previous year, they get those paid next year. So looking at this, let's see what we've got. So this is how much, these are how much dividends are being paid each year. And the dividend that has to be paid to the preferred stock is 54,000. It's 2% stock. So their dividend has to be 54,000 each year, no matter what. So the first year, it can only be 24,000. And there's no dividends in arrears from a previous year. So the total distributed is 24,000, but they needed 54,000. So they have preferred dividends in arrears of 30,000 here. The next year, there's an $81,000 dividend. Well, we've got 54,000 we have to pay here. And we are 30,000 in the hole. Oops. We have a problem, right? because 84 is more than 81. So they're only going to pay 51,000 in the current one, and they're going to pay the one that's in arrears. So they've paid a total of 81,000. But now there's $3,000 that hasn't been allotted for, so that goes into arrears here. Now this is looking more promising. They're going to pay them 54,000, and their total is going to be 58,000, but I have money left over. So now my common stock will be able to get a dividend of what's left over, which is $34,000. Next year's even better yet because we just have 54,000. There's nothing in arrears. That leaves a preferred of 54,000 and common stock should get 85,000. So preferred stock always gets the dividend first, and if it doesn't get it all in the first year, it carries over to the second year. So that is a stock dividend and a stock dividend and a preferred stock distribution. Okay, we have two more after this. I think we're going to try to throw it in here. So this is sheet 7. This is retained earnings. This is a very quick one. You know how to do this. We're going to, we started with 48 million. And we're going to adjust that, obviously, just like we always do. So what's our net income? They gave us net income of 9,330,000. And we're going to subtract the dividends. I'm just going to put a minus there of 2 million. And again, oh, they added them all together, so it's 22,400,000. There. And this is going to tell us the increase. I guess we could do this. Maybe that would be easier for you. Let's put that over here. Our increase is going to be this plus this equals a mistake. Where did I go wrong? Oh, I don't have enough zeros in there. Doggone it. There. So now what's our ending retained earnings? If I just add those two together, I will have a retained earnings statement. Again, you take your beginning, add the net income, subtract the dividends to come up with your increase, and end up with your final ending retained earnings. Now, earnings per share is very, very easy. Earnings per share is net income minus preferred dividends divided by the average shares. And that looks like this. Equals, I think we have to use parentheses. This minus this divided by this. You come up with some ungodly. So look, take this. You need to put this in parentheses so it does the subtraction first. And that will give you earnings per share. Again, it is net earnings minus preferred dividends divided by average shares. If you forget it, just go up here and look at what I've done. I think you can pull that off by yourself. So that takes care of the participation points. Email me if you have questions.